Hey everyone, today we have the one and only King Bach. His name is Andrew Batchelor. And from Toronto, a fellow Canadian, is going to be on the show today. And I've, like 20 million people around the world, hundreds of millions probably, have heard about King Bach through Vine, which is now shut down. But he has successfully migrated his audience and his content to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you name it. He is a social media phenomenon with over 20 million followers on Instagram. He and I discussed a lot of things. It was a shorter interview, mainly just because we had started a little bit late and we had some time crunch issues, I guess you could say. But I did try to fit in as much as possible just because of me wanting to respect his time. But we did get into some of the stuff that hopefully will be valuable for you guys, which is how he went from studying finance in Florida and how he made the move to LA, and his dream of being the biggest movie star in the world, and what he really had to go through to break out of the noise. He started on YouTube, of course, spending thousands of dollars trying to really stand out from the amount of noise that's really out there. And really for him, it was to distinguish himself when he goes into auditions. And of course, that took a life of its own, where he is able to charge over $300,000 per sponsorship. And it's quite a fascinating journey that he's been through. So I get into a little bit about the mindset of how he thinks about the entertainment industry, what keeps him motivated when he's really able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars of just one post on Instagram, what makes him really want to continue acting, and how he filters his circle as being someone that is so well known, so popular, and someone that is probably constantly being bombarded by different opportunities and different people that are looking for his attention, his followers, his money, and we get into all of that. So despite the shorter interview, I hope you guys really enjoy this conversation with King Bach and I. Thanks, guys. I'm really excited to dig in. This is the first thing I do whenever I interview YouTubers, is I go to their channel, which is Bachelor's Pad TV. And I went to your first video that you've ever uploaded about 8 years ago, I think. I don't know if that's the real first video, because obviously people have videos that they take out or remove. But it was you. You weren't even in it, though. That's the thing. But it looks like for an 8-year-old production, for someone that was, I guess you haven't made it yet, but this is the one where it was Watch Bachelor's Pad.
Oh, with the guy at the park?
With the guy at the park, but you weren't even in it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It looks like it was like expensive because you had actors and you had it seems like a real production at that time.
Yeah. No, it was. That was when I was launching my channel. I was like, oh, if I'm gonna launch my channel, I need to make some commercials for it. So it was like
8 years ago. And did you spend your own money to be able to produce that at that time?
Yeah, that was all my hard-earned money that I used for my investments from Apple back in the day. Investing in Apple stock.
You were doing some stock investments.
Yeah, in college I started that, and then I used some of those profits to fund the videos that I was doing.
Oh, interesting. How did you get into stock investing?
So I went to Florida State University and I studied finance.
Gotcha. Which is like the complete opposite of what you're doing now.
Yeah. But I'm still making money.
That's it. So you went all in on Apple, and what was the return on that when you first
So
got into the stock market?
when I bought Apple, it was $80, and then by the time Apple got up to like 600 at one point. So it was like, yeah, I made a lot on Apple.
Damn, dude. Wow. Yeah. You ever thought about just going all in on stock investing before you were thinking about getting into YouTube and acting, or you've always wanted to?
I still do it now. I still do it now. So it's cool. I'm on. Do you do stock investments?
No, not really. No, I do. I'm pretty long on Tesla.
Oh yeah, I did Tesla too, but Tesla's too volatile because it's Elon. He'll tweet something crazy and then you'll lose all your money, and then he'll tweet something nice and then you'll gain a lot of money. So I just had to get out of Tesla.
Yeah, like he recently tweeted like a couple months ago that the stock was too high and it plummeted. So it's not the safest investment for sure.
Yeah.
Huh. So you put in all basically your investment from the money that you made from stock investing, and you decided to put it into YouTube. Mm-hmm. And what made you want to transition from going into like studying finance out of all things and getting into entertainment? Did you just realize when you were studying finance, like shit, like this is not for me?
Well, entertainment was always the goal from when I was 7 years old. That's just what I wanted to do. Finance was a backup plan. So if I didn't make it in the acting, which would never happen because I'm just so talented, I would have been an accountant probably.
An accountant. Wow.
Yeah.
And were your parents more the strict parents? I don't know if they're strict as like Asian parents, because that's a different level of strict. There's no, you got kind of got 3 jobs. Yeah.
D plus. Yeah, they were pretty strict. They didn't hold me to that higher standard because, my sister, she was a genius. She would get all the A's and I would do my thing. I wasn't failing. But they knew from an early age that my passion was acting.
So they saw that when you were 7 or when you were 8, that you were just glued to the TVs and memorizing all the lines, or what was it about when you were young that really made them think that you were looking to pursue?
I just wanted to to take classes. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to take classes. I wanted to meet other actors. I wanted to be on TV. I didn't know how to be on TV, so I would just take classes and go from there.
Gotcha. And you saw YouTube as like a way to get attention, so for other directors and stuff, so that it would make it a little bit easier, or what was the purpose around that?
Yeah, so I was doing when I moved to LA, I was doing the typical thing like going on auditions and always getting told no, and then I realized like, how can I get a chance if no one gives me a chance? So I figured I need to create my own fan base, and I need to create a reel for myself. So I started to create a reel, and creating this reel, I started to slowly create a fan base. And then once I had the fan base, then all of a sudden all the agencies that shut me down and turned me away were all calling me, and yeah, just went from there.
Gotcha. And what was it like was YouTube the first thing that you decided to pursue before Vine and?
Yeah, so it started off with stand-up. I started off doing stand-up comedy. Then after stand-up, because back in the day, it was like you do stand-up, you get discovered, you get your own sitcom. And then, didn't get discovered doing stand-up. So we're still doing stand-up, still do stand-up to this day. Then I started doing YouTube. Then after YouTube, then Vine came out. Then after Vine, Instagram. After Instagram, TikTok. And then after TikTok, who knows what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a new app, it's just the cycle just keeps going and going.
So when you first started on YouTube, I remember hearing that it wasn't getting the kind of traction that you wanted. You were spending thousands of dollars in creating these skits, but for whatever reason, it wasn't just taken off, right? And you had Vine, out of all platforms, that doesn't even exist today. I think you're like a great example of someone, because people always think like, oh, I'm gonna wait until this platform or it's not gonna stick around. They don't really pursue like testing out new platforms like TikTok or Vine or whatever it might be. But you're a great example of someone that blew up on a platform that no longer exists today.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
What was it about Vine you think that was so particular that made you blow up that YouTube wasn't?
I mean, Vine was just, I could create more content. It's all about the consistency. It's all about, content is king. And with Vine, it were only 6 seconds, so I could produce content after content after content after content. And then in doing that, I was building my brand. And that's what you want to do at the end of the day. You build your brand. It doesn't matter what platform goes away. You're still there. So, I built the brand of King Batch. And then once anything could disappear, people will still know who King Batch is and what that brand is.
Yeah, dude. And your videos are hilarious, obviously. Did it take some time to understand were you, because the thing about this is like, there's no one to really look up to, right? When you're on the cutting edge of doing something that isn't really existed in the past, there's no blueprint for someone to follow, especially for something like a 6-second media outlet. I mean, how were you trying to figure this out? Was it just more of you trying to experiment on your own, or did you have someone that you could look up to and have a framework of how to approach something like this?
No, there wasn't anyone to look up to. It's pretty much just experimenting. It was just me being myself and me creating content that I enjoyed, me being unique to who I am. And that's where I have the most fun. I've been filming a lot of movies, so I haven't been able to get back to my YouTube. But now that I just wrapped the film yesterday, actually. So now I'm back in LA, and I'm going to get back to my YouTube grind and start like creating sketches, stuff that's in my brain, just take it out, boom, type it up on a little laptop, make my script, and then shoot it out.
What's the process behind that? So you have an idea, let's say for a skit, you decide to write it out wherever it might be, paper, pen. What's like the process after that, from the idea all the way to production?
Yeah, so I come up with the idea, then I figure out who I'm going to cast in it. Then I find the location. After I find the location, I get the crew. I let them know what day. Talk to the set design people, let them know how the vision I have in my head for how I want the set to look. Then when we get there, we shoot. I make sure there's food and snacks for everyone on set to be comfortable and have a good time.
It's like a proper production.
Yeah,
like it's not kids just out on the streets and doing it. This is a proper production deal.
Yeah. We're doing it for real. And after we finish, I edit as well. So I write, direct, act in it, and I edit it. And then from the skills that I've learned and acquired over the years of making content, I kind of know what to trim, what to keep, what to lose, and that's how we go forward with making the viral videos.
You're editing it yourself. You're not hiring an editor to do that for you.
Yeah, I edit myself.
Damn. What's the reason behind that?
Just because I've done the whole hiring an editor before, and I come from that Vine world where we had 6.2 seconds, so you had to look, every millisecond counted. And a lot of editors don't really know about these milliseconds, like when the joke hits, when to get out, when to use like reaction shots. So it's like, instead of me just telling them, I just do it myself.
So it's like the timing of when something lands, or when you switch to a different shot. It's like those small things that, and you think you learned that through just mastering Vine and these. Yeah,
just mastering viral content in general, just, and also studying content. Like, I watch Chappelle Show, I watch Key and Peele, I watch, Fresh Prince, I watch Martin, Jamie Foxx, I watch all these shows. So it's like, it's programmed in my brain, where sometimes these editors, maybe they're watching different types of shows. They're not watching the types of shows that I watch. They're not consuming the type of content that I consume. And, yeah.
Gotcha. You don't think you can ever train someone to have that level? You just don't think that'll get there, at least for your own medium like YouTube, not for movies, obviously.
I could. I mean, yeah, but I can also do it myself. I have no problem doing it myself right now, you know. But I
Yeah.
can always get an editor to do like a rough cut of something, give me a first draft of it, and then I could always clean it up after that.
Gotcha. I mean, it's that level of work ethic that got you into this level of fame. I mean, to me, it's still boggling. I looked at your Instagram; it's like 20 million followers. I mean, it doesn't even register in my mind. For you, it's probably just a regular thing, right? For you to hit another million followers, I kind of, it's really hard to comprehend because there's this like the idea of the, have you heard of the Dunbar's number?
No, what's that?
It's like I think it was a German evolutionary, but he was describing that in tribes, the maximum number of people that we could keep track of was 150, because that was the level of from the level of like memory of the names that you can remember, or the relationships that you can have. So our brains aren't wired to remember more people than 150 on average. Some people can remember a little bit more, some people a little bit less. But for you to have 20 million people around the world, I mean, to me, it's just boggling. I actually know the closest person that I know that had that and just risen to the top was Jerome Jarre, who I think is another friend of yours. And I had met him before he was big. He was grinding it out with Gary, and sleeping in his office and everything. And
with Gary V.
With Gary V, he was just in the. I met him the day before he met Gary for the rock paper scissors thing that he did to be able to start Grape Story. And I saw it live for him to be able to blow up, and it changes a lot of people from being able to get that much attention. Some people just are not accustomed to it, I guess. Right. And I'm curious to what is your relationship with that level of fame and attention?
I think I was programmed for it since an early age. Like I said before, I've wanted to, be an actor and a movie star since I was 7 years old. So I kind of I believed in walking by faith. So I would always walk and talk like I was a movie star. I remember in high school, if you find anyone I went to high school with, if you find their yearbook, I would always sign and I would say, save this autograph. It's going to be worth something one day. So I would always just do that. I was just programmed just like that since I was a little kid. And so, yeah, to me, it's like, it's just destiny.
Gotcha. So you feel pretty comfortable with the idea that 20 million people follow you. Like there's nothing pressuring you or anything like that. This is just the way of how you live at this point. Like you feel like this is like, why aren't you at 30 million? That's probably your level of thinking, right?
Yeah. And I mean, and think about it, 20 million people follow me. Well, there's way more people that know who I am. You know what I mean? It's like, if you take an actor like Ryan Gosling, I know who Ryan Gosling is. I don't follow him on social media, but I'm still a fan of his work. So there's situations like that too. There's people who still know who I am but don't follow me on social media.
Gotcha. I mean, it doesn't seem when I speak with you and just kind of the decisions that you made that money isn't the motivator for you. Clearly, because it seems like with Vine you were making a shitload of cash already, and it wasn't like a big thing because you still wanted to go to auditions, you still wanted to go pursue this acting thing that wasn't paying you as much compared to getting a sponsorship deal with things like Vine. At this point, what do you think is the main driver for you to keep working when you can retire at this point and you've reached the level of fame that very few people have?
Well, for me, it's my main goal is to be the biggest movie star in the world. And the only way to achieve that is to keep going and keep working. And, to this day, I still don't have a role that I am like, yo, I love this role that I've done, because it's not my role. All the roles I've played are characters that were written in the script that I had to adapt to and form the character to, where it's, I want to do my action comedy where I'm the lead of it. And, and the only way I can do that, I see, is if I get back to roots and how I got to where I am. I have to create it myself. So, now, in order to do that, I have to EP it. In order to EP it, I got to get the money. In order to get the money, you got to do the work. So I've been investing, I own a couple different companies, co-owners of boxing gym called Gloveworks. We have 4 locations, 3 in LA, 1 in New York. I own a network called the Zeus Network, which is kind of like Netflix, but short form content. Me and Amanda Cerny have a wine company called 626 Wine. Also, I'm an investor in a mask company called nanoairmask.com. So, I just have all these different businesses that I'm a part of that I'm doing. And, the goal for that is to get the money so then I can executive produce my own content.
Right, where you can pick the writers and the directors and just have that level of control for yourself.
Yeah, correct.
Huh. And roughly how much would it be to be the EP of a movie that you want to make?
There's different ways to do it. I could either fund it myself or get $10 to $15 million, or I can hire someone to go out and raise the money and then make a deal with the investors so they get a percentage back on their investment, and that's another way to do it.
Right. And don't you think with your level of fame, you can have investors that can back you?
Yeah. So I actually EP'd my first movie early this year. I think it was July.
Great.
So I got one of my friends. He's very wealthy. He invested into the movie.
Is it her name or is this Russian oligarch?
We'll keep him a silent investor.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he gave a couple mil to do this movie. So this was our first test. Do this movie, comes out next year. It's called Don't Fear. When it comes out next year, he'll make his money back, and then we'll do it again. We'll do a bigger budget, and we'll just keep that cycle going until I build my empire.
Dude, I love it. So, and then he gives you the control to basically do what you want, which is hire the right people and hire the people you trust. Mm-hmm. And he'll get a cut of the profits based on what it does in the box office. Mm-hmm. Or what if you guys sell it direct?
Yeah, or whoever we sell it to.
Gotcha. And is it easier now to do something like an EP where there's so much distribution channels?
Yeah.
There's like Apple, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer right now to do it because because of the pandemic, content went on a halt. So now that things are getting back active, people need content. Like there was no content being made. They need to buy the content, and we already have the content created. So now it's just a matter of getting it to the highest bidder.
Gotcha. So for $3 million, you guys were able to make a movie.
Yeah.
Damn. Crazy.
And that's small. Like I said before, when I get my role that I do, it'll be like a $10 to $15 million. That'll be a $10 to $15 million go.
Damn, bro. Well, so if I'm just trying to compare, I'm not in this industry. So what was the production budget of Batman, like The Dark Knight?
Oh, those movies are in the hundreds of millions. Those are like
hundreds of millions.
150 million, 200 million types of movies, like Avengers.
Right. But if you're the EP, you probably want to figure out what's the angle of having the least amount of cost that can also sell pretty big. Have you found like that angle? Have you thought about?
Yeah. That's the movie we did, Don't Fear. Horror films are statistically the cheapest to shoot with the highest return.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because you just need to put some makeup on a scary person, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. One location you can do it, get a couple scares, people are happy, get out, boom. There was some movies, what was it called? Paranormal Activity, It made it for like 100,000, and then made over.
No.
Yeah.
It was 100,000?
Yeah.
And what was the box office that?
It was like 150 million or something. Let me see.
Holy shit. That is insane. 100,000 for all the actors. So they just use like an unknown actor or actress, I guess, because they're not even shown. And they just didn't.
193 million
for $100,000 budget.
Yeah.
Dude, that is insane. Wow. Well, I think you've got the right formula. And are you also acting in it? So you mean it's kind of lowers the cost in that case as well.
Yeah, I'm acting in it as well.
Gotcha. And also stand-up comedy is like another big one, right? Like Netflix is putting on a lot of stand-up comedy because you just don't need a lot of stuff to be able to produce something like that.
Shoot it and then bing, bada boom, boom.
Yeah. You think you'll ever do EP your own stand-up comedy special?
Maybe. That could be in the works.
Yeah.
Never know. You just got to stay tuned. You got to keep on following me to find out.
Man, you're a pro. Well, you've got all of these things going on, man. I'm curious to know with so many opportunities from the companies that you 626 Wine. Is it Zeus? Is that how you pronounce it? Mm-hmm. You got your mask, your glove works. You got all these things going on. You got YouTube, EP, acting. I mean, with so many things that are thrown at you, how do you choose what to work on, and how do you choose what to say no to?
I work on, I build a relationship first. I build a relationship with the person that's, doing the business. And then if I like you and we get along, then I see the product. If I like the product, I get along with the product, then we go from there. If it can make me money, boom, I'm in there.
Okay. So do you find yourself saying yes much more often than you can handle, or you're just constantly able to hustle and make it work?
Yeah, no, I'm saying no to a lot of stuff. People are always trying to, just because of my huge following, people are always trying to get involved and trying to see how they can work with me. And, if I were to say yes to everything, it would kind of wash my brand out. So I'm very selective with the brands that I do choose to work with.
Yeah. And I imagine it's tough because especially if you have a relationship with someone already, to be able to say yes or no, you kind of have to do it in a delicate way, I imagine, especially in LA where relationships are so crucial, since someone that isn't really famous, let's say, can be famous the next day or have influential power within Hollywood. Have you practiced the kind of the art of saying no, as they say, when someone is trying to pitch you something or ask for an opportunity?
Oh yeah. That's easy for me because at the end of the day, when I was coming up as well, I wasn't given any handouts. I had to work for everything that I did, so I don't feel bad for saying no to anyone who kind of wants a free handout. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So you will just be blunt about it, essentially.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I imagine the level of requests that you get must be crazy. So, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, for you now, when you're developing relationships with people that are that you want to work with, let's say someone like Will Smith or The Rock, Kevin Hart, whoever it might be for you, whether it's in comedy or acting, obviously you have those relationships with those people already, right? Mm-hmm. This is something I struggle with, is like when you don't have that like deep relationship with someone, but obviously you're mutually connected. You don't want to reach out just for a business reason, because it kind of sounds like transactional and it maybe doesn't feel as like authentic. But you also know how busy these people are and how much they're traveling and stuff. So you don't want to reach out for like, just to say like, hey, what's up? Let's grab coffee, because people don't have time for that either.
Right.
So for you now, when you're reaching out to people, someone like Will Smith, let's say, how do you even approach building a deeper relationship with someone like that?
I'm a firm believer in if you build it, they will come. I don't really reach out to anyone. Um, I work on my vision. I work on my goal, and if they want to work and reach out to me, they can reach out to me. It's the same thing. I never look for any handouts. I've met Will, hung out with him a couple times. Kevin Hart, like that's a prime example. Never reached out to Kevin Hart. I did my thing. I blew up on the internet. He hit me up and asked me to direct a show for him. So I directed a show for him on his LOL network called Dead
Right.
House. And that's just from me working hard, staying in my own lane and doing my thing. So if you work, then everyone that you look up to will notice you. And if they want to work with you, they'll hit you up.
So for someone that's listening to this now, because obviously you've got the followership, so it's certainly easy because a lot of people want to work with you. So you can you can stay on your lane for sure. What if, when you were kind of coming up into the game and you weren't as well known, how were you approaching, the people that you really wanted to work with? Because I'm sure you had mentors. I'm sure you had people that you wanted to look up to, just like everyone else. Did you not want to have those relationships and try to build those and just stay on your lane so that because you knew that you were able to make it on your own at that time?
So I'm an introvert, so I don't want to talk to anybody in general. So
You're an introvert, really?
Yeah, so I never reached out to anyone. I would just, like I said, just write scripts in my house, just write a bunch of scripts and then shoot them. And then some would go viral and then people would, recognize me, and then it built the fan base that I have today. But it was never me trying to reach out to Will Smith or Kevin Hart or, anything like that.
Yeah, so you just stayed in your lane and eventually it just kind of all came together.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, one of the questions I was wanted to ask is, what do you think is the one thing that people misunderstand about you the most? I would probably say that it's that you're an introvert.
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of times people will come up to me like, "Yo, man, where's all your energy? Where's King Patch?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sorry to let you down. This is me. I'm a chill guy in real life, It's just the videos I'm acting, so they see the character of King Batch and they think that that's who I am, when really I'm just Andrew Batchelor."
You're just the chill guy. And so that happens a lot when you get a lot of fans that see you in Vine or TikTok or Instagram. And, do you feel like you need to play that character a little bit when fans are so excited to see you? Or do you feel like this is, you really wouldn't be able to live your life at that point?
Yeah, I don't care about it at all. It's like, I'm not in this business to be somebody else. I'm here to enjoy my life and be me. So, you shouldn't be afraid. Sorry, I have something in my throat. You shouldn't be afraid of what people think of you. It doesn't even matter. As long as you're you, then that's all that matters, and you're happy.
And do you feel like you've had that mindset? Because I asked this because very few people have that level of, I don't give a crap of what other people say. This is something that a lot of people have to develop over time. And most people are very self-conscious, despite not having 20 million followers. How did you develop that with so much publicity around you all the time?
I think it's because, like I said, there's two different characters. It's kind of like, if you look at a bank account, right? Someone looks at your bank account, they'll be like, "Oh, wow, that's a lot of money in there," right? Someone who doesn't have a lot of money, someone with a lot of money, like, it's a little bit of money. But if you're looking, it's like, "Oh, that's just money inside there. That's just money." It's like, whatever you think about that money, could be a lot, could be a little. that's on you. It's just money. That's what it is. That's what King Batch is. So if anyone wants to say, oh shit, I love King Batch, or oh I hate King Batch, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can do whatever you want. That's King Batch. That's not me. That's not Andrew Batchelor. So that's how I kind of deal with any opinions or how people view what I do.
Yeah. And have you always stayed true to that, or is that something you've recently developed with just being able to be working on yourself a little bit more and more of the self-care after all the publicity you've had?
It's probably a bit of both. I probably developed that along the way. But I saw I think it was a Christian Bale quote. He said like, if you have a problem with me, call me and we'll talk about it. But if you don't have my number, that means you weren't close enough to even have an opinion about me, so it doesn't matter, or something like that. So that was pretty cool.
Interesting. Huh. And when you're choosing your friend group now, how do you select the people around you? Like, because the cliche saying is like, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. When you're thinking about who to put into 5 of the people that you want to surround yourself with, and the level of requests that you get, and obviously the opportunities that you're getting, how do you select those core group of friends?
It's honestly, it's like I just figure out what my goal is, and it's like if I'm not true. If I'm trying to if I'm feeling like a workout mood, I'll hit up my workout friend. If I'm feeling like go out on vacation mode, I'll hit up my vacation friend. If I'm feeling like stimulate the brain, I'll hit up my, you know what I mean? It's like there's a different person in my life for each type of situation and each mood that I'm feeling. So I don't think there's any like core one set of group of friends. It's dependent upon my mood.
Okay, gotcha. So do you feel like there's no like core group of friends that you're always hanging out with? You're able to find whatever group that you have depending on what you're doing at that time, you're saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Well, just to wrap it up, some final questions. What is a investment you've made in your career that maybe you didn't know at the time, but if you were to look back, has really paid off for you?
Making those expensive ass YouTube videos.
Really? But those didn't get as many views as as the ones that you've had onto Vine. What made it so valuable for you?
It set my mindset up for quality over quantity from an early age. And that's that's my root. It made me stay focused on what I need to be doing, and that's developing the craft of the art.
Gotcha. If there's a gift that you would, if there's a book that you would gift to someone, or something that has made the most impact in your life, what would that be for you?
Ooh, the book that made the most impact on my life. Oh, The Secret. I read that when I was a teenager.
Gotcha. And what was the impact for you?
Just like, anything that you set your mind to, you can achieve.
Gotcha. That was a big eye-opening a book for you. That wasn't something that
I didn't even know. I just read the book and I just started doing. I didn't know whether to believe it or not, but I just started practicing that, and then stuff started to come true. And then look at me now, King Batch.
I love it, dude. Well, last question. We generally like to give an actionable step for, in this case, is probably upcoming entertainers or actors or even entrepreneurs that are trying to, make it and trying to get from 0 to 1. If there's a small actionable thing that you would recommend to those people, what would that be?
Stay consistent to who you are. Stay unique to who you are. You're going to fail. You need to fail in order to succeed. you need to fail in order to succeed.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate you being on. Is there anything you want to plug, anything you want to share for the audience to check out?
Yeah, check out Holiday on Netflix, October 28th. Check out Sneakerheads on Netflix right now. And yeah, enjoy life.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time and excited for all the things that you're going to be doing. So I look forward to seeing the horror movie when it comes out.
Awesome. Thanks.